Officer of Arizona Public Service Company, the largest electric utility in Arizona. Tammy was recently named Chief Customer Officer of the Year by the Chief Customer Officer Council. She is joining me to speak about the recent honor and the factors that contribute to a successful CCO. Tammy, you were recently honored as Chief Customer Officer of the Year, chosen from a group of 400 individuals representing the world's CCO executives. Curtis Bingham, founder and executive director of the CCO Council, said that you personify the CCO of the Year award, adding that you recognize the positive long-term benefits of consistent and proactive service. What is your reaction to this accolade, and in your point of view, what constitutes a successful CCO?
Well, my reaction was, absolutely thrilled to get this award, but at the same time, I'm incredibly humbled because there are so many wonderful Chief Customer Officers out there who I learned so much from on an annual basis. And so to be amongst them and to have this award from my peers was really very, very special. In terms of what creates a good Chief Customer Officer, I think it's going to vary by company very much. But I can tell you, some of the things that I think work well for us that would also translate to other businesses. One of those things would be to really measure everything. And by that I mean measuring customer interactions so that you know what's giving you the biggest bang for your buck in terms of your customers. There are certain things that we do that we think customers will like a lot. And in fact, what you may find is that they don't like this as much as we had expected, or that we're over-serving in certain capacities so that you've already taken a very satisfied customer and incrementally added a notch, which won't matter as much to them as something else. And so measure everything. Act like an engineer is one of my basic premises.
Can you describe some of the things that you do? So what are some of the ways that you engage the entire company in understanding customers and meeting their needs, and how are you ensuring that employees deliver quality customer experiences?
It's a great question, and I don't think that I have this wired or nailed 100%, if you will, but it's something I'm always striving for. So one of the basic things that I do is on a monthly basis, I actually take out time and meet with every single new hire in our company. And my purpose in meeting with them upon their entry into Arizona Public Service is to really let them know how important customers are to us. And so I give some basic stories about customers. I talk a little bit about research that we do around customers, what customers like, what customers are interested in, and make sure that they leave knowing that on the 15th and the 30th, when they get a paycheck, that in fact it was the customers who really paid them. So I do that with every new hire. In addition, when we do get survey results, I go out on speaking tour. We're only located inside the state of Arizona and have a plant also in New Mexico. But for the most part, we do cover the entire state, so we have employees everywhere. And I try to get out to those rural areas as well and explain, here's how we're doing, here's what the research shows, here's what we need to do a better job of, here's how we see our customers have changed over the last year and what's more important to them now. So really communicating on behalf of the customers and being that voice of customers here at APS so that I can encourage others to maintain a customer-centric focus.
Do you believe that does make a difference when someone in your position and other executives in charge of the customer experience get in front of frontline employees?
Absolutely. I think it makes all the difference in the world. I think if you really engage people and let them know that we value their ability to interact with customers, their ability to satisfy and delight customers, their ability to take criticism from customers, we value all of that. And that our company is founded on being able to do that. We give our employees mechanisms to be able to record things. So, for example, maybe a customer was calling in to initiate a new service with us, but in passing, in the conversation, they mentioned something, and those trash boxes that have the APS logo on them have been sitting out in the park for 3 days, or whatever. An employee can capture that, put it into a system that then gets acted upon. So we've developed some homegrown mechanisms here that really allow us to capture that kind of chatter that we might hear, as well as all the new social media chatter, and act upon those things so that we're bringing about a better customer experience.
Do you also offer incentives to those employees to make sure that they are consistently capturing that information?
We do offer incentives, and they're for slightly different things. We expect employees to capture that information, and certainly if it's an employee in a frontline position, say a call center job or an office job, they would be expected to do, and we would know that through quality monitoring, whether or not they were capturing things like that. But we do incent almost all of our employees in accordance with our customer satisfaction targets, so that at the end of the year, if we have met our satisfaction targets, which are very, while they're dependent on good customer service, they're also dependent on a variety of other issues in our company. So most all of the employees are incented on us meeting those targets at the end of the year.
Switching gears, prior to becoming the CCO here, you oversaw construction and operations for Southern Arizona. How did your responsibilities there transfer over to your current role and prepare you for this position?
Well, I think it was just a great transition for me. In addition to the construction and operations, I had the traditional customer service functions. So I was able to see that other side of our business where we're really doing, engineering work, construction work in the field, setting poles, building electrical infrastructure, and how that impacted communities at a higher level. And so by learning that function and how we go out and learning what was important to customers in those times, certain delivery dates, certain infrastructure needing to be in place so that they could get a new mall set up before the Christmas season and experience the tax revenue on a local town, it really allowed me to get in touch with our communities that we were serving, especially all of those in Southern Arizona. And that's been a natural lead-in to my role as CCO. I stay very connected to all of the communities so that I understand specifically how we're performing in them, and I know how closely aligned our activities are with their economic development. And so both of those activities of community relations and economic development fall within the Office of the Customer. And so I think it's just been a great learning for me in order to build upon that in my new role.
Sounds very fitting. And I'm just curious, when you stepped into the position of CCO, was it a brand new position? And if so, how did you sort of set the standards for that role?
It was a brand new role. It had not, we had not had a chief customer officer here at Arizona Public Service before. In fact, at the time, I believe there may have been only one other one in the industry. And so I think I'm still in the process of setting the standard for the role. I don't think that that's something that you come in and do quickly. But what I did very quickly was I had a handle on some of the function because I had already been responsible for that. The new areas that I received as part of the role, I quickly did some assessment work internally and externally to find out how well we were doing. What did our external customers think of it? What did our internal stakeholders think of our work? How important was this work? What needed to change? And by collecting that information up, it gave me, a mini roadmap for those first 90 days of integration. And then I brought everyone in, and together as a new team, we set our vision, and we're able to build our business plans off of that vision going forward.
That's great. And since taking on this role, have you noticed more CCO positions popping up in your particular industry?
I have. It's exciting. Tucson Electric has recently announced a CCO. There is one at Pacific Gas and Electric, but I believe she may have been in place before I was. Northeast Utility is looking at creating a CCO. Duke is looking at creating a CCO. They have someone who's performing the function. I think they're thinking about calling it CCO. And Portland General is changing the name of their former, I think she was Vice President of Customer Service, to Chief Customer Officer as well, and expanding, again, the function and looking at some of the things that she's responsible for. So I think it's a trend.
Great, very promising.
It is.
So finally, I understand, Tammy, that you often share best practices with other CCOs to help inspire them. What advice can you offer today to all CCOs out there and executives charged with overseeing their customer experiences?
Well, that's a huge question, and I think obviously every company is going to be somewhat unique, but I would really step out and get my arms around customer research to start off with, and figure out what you have already in the cabinet, if it's some major reputation research that's already been conducted, or some community leader surveys or anything like that, and then look for what you have on the transaction side. When folks are doing business with your company on a daily basis, what are they saying about that process, and are you measuring it? And if I didn't feel like the research platform was in place and working well, that's where I'd start, because you need to get that feedback before you can really do anything else, and the customers should be driving the direction of the company in that respect.
To learn more about relationship strategy, visit www.one-to-onemedia.com.